Hail everybody, remember this tax season, everybody. That Michaela and Michelle need some new shoes, everybody. Golden Show, unlimitedmouth.com, like, comment, share, and download. Like, comment, share, and download. Do it. Hashtag, I know the VIPs are listening, but are you? Get the word of the show out. GoldenDebateShow. GoldenShow. GoldenDebateShow. So what if I open my eyes I've been dealing with a lot of difficulty for my game. But the modem was off the router, so yesterday I was reading something about it.
Yeah, the golden debate show. Wow.
What happened to my man 2 Minute News from YouTube already?
Number 25, Batman sues Batman. The mayor of Batman City in southeastern Turkey sued Warner Brothers for using his city's name without permission. There's only one Batman in the world, he was quoted as saying. Number 24, a store owner sues a homeless man for $1 million. In 2007, the owner of Posh, Carl Kemp & Associates Antiques in Manhattan, sued several homeless people for hanging out in front of his store and scaring away customers. Number 23, a student sues a school for being awakened by a teacher. After falling asleep in class and being awakened by a teacher smacking her palm down on his desk, a 16-year-old's parents decided to sue the Connecticut Board of Education for hearing loss that he suffered. Number 22, a man sues himself. In 1995, Robert Brock, a Virginia state prisoner, decided he wanted to be moved from prison to a mental institution. He claimed that his crime was against his morals and that he had violated his own civil liberties. Although he sued himself for $5 million, he said that the state should pay since he didn't have an income. Number 21. PETA sues the Division of Fish and Wildlife. On their way home from a protest, 2 members of PETA hit a deer with their car. They then informed the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife that they were going to sue them as a result of their deer management program, which includes, in certain circumstances, an effort to increase the deer population. Number 20. A woman sues a weather station for a false report. An Israeli woman sued a TV station for making an inaccurate prediction. They said it would be sunny, but it rained. This apparently resulted in her dressing lightly and catching the flu. She won her case for $1,000. Number 19. A woman sues McDonald's for coffee that is too hot. In 1992, a 72-year-old woman from Albuquerque spilled her McDonald's coffee into her lap. She then won a lawsuit against McDonald's for nearly $3 million, claiming that they should have put a warning sign on the cup. Number 18. A man sues Michael Jordan for looking like him. In 2006, Alan Heckert of Oregon filed a case against Michael Jordan and Phil Knight for the emotional trauma he suffered as a result of looking like Michael Jordan. Number 17. A man sues a family after getting stuck in their garage during a robbery. In October of 1998, Terrence Dixon of Pennsylvania was trying to exit the house he was robbing. He managed to get stuck in the garage, however, and for 8 days he lived off of Pepsi and dog food. He then successfully sued for over $500,000. Number 16. A woman sues for breaking her ankle tripping over a toddler. Kathleen Robertson of Austin, Texas won $780,000 after suing for damages when she tripped over a toddler running amok in a store. The strangest part? The toddler was her own son. Number 15. A man sues for a damaged bumper after running over a pedestrian. In January of 2008, Thomas Delgado, a Spanish businessman, sued the family of a boy he hit and killed in his luxury car for damaging his front bumper. Number 14. A mom sues the company where her son went on a shooting spree. After Jonathan Russell came to work and shot 3 of his fellow factory workers before committing suicide, his mother filed for workers' compensation from the factory as a result of his death on the clock. Number 13. A man sues his ex-wife for the return of his kidney. Richard Batista saved his wife's life by giving her one of his kidneys. After their divorce several years later, he demanded his kidney back. Either that or $1.5 million. Number 12. A woman sues neighborhood girls for bringing her cookies. In 2005, two teenage girls decided to skip out on a school dance and surprise their neighbors with home-baked cookies. Juanita Young ended up suing them, however, because their knocks on her door apparently instigated an anxiety attack the next day.
We need to file a video under more proof that we do not need to be poisoned with petroleum-based azo coal tar artificial color dyes. Check this out. This is a Nestle It's Gadoozy. And we stopped at a gas station on a road trip, and my son brought this to me. Please, Mom, want this. And I looked at this and went, oh my gosh, this looks like a frightful horror fest of carnival of just...
a neon nightmare.
Artificial colors. There's no way I'm going to want to give this to him so he can have all kinds of weird freakouts and behavioral issues afterwards, because he's totally sensitive to that stuff, because it's synthetic dyes that are petroleum-based, they're unnatural, and they cause kids to have all kinds of behavior problems.
I would say after seeing the studies, most kids are sensitive to that. Ben Feingold, his studies go back to the 70s, and then in about 2007, they had a breakthrough study in the UK that led to it being banned in the UK and EU. And they did a double-blind general population study and found that kids of several different age ranges all basically went hyperactive when they were given these artificial color ingredients and things like sodium benzoate.
So check this out. So he brings this to us.
And naturally we flip over the ingredients.
We're waiting for red number 40 and blue number 1 and 2 and yellow 5 and 6 and every color you can think of, right? But check out these ingredients.
And mind you, sugar's not good for you, but at least it's a known substance. And yeah, it might come from GMO sugar beets, but beet juice concentrate color, natural flavors, guar gum, carob bean gum, turmeric extract color, ascorbic vitamin C. And yes, I know natural flavors can also be a hidden cloak. This normally would have had red 40, blue 2, blue 1, yellow 5 or 6, or maybe all of them. Instead, they're using actual turmeric and beets for the coloring. They use real food for coloring, and they could do this, and they have done this. They do this in Europe and other countries where the artificial colors are banned because of their known harm, their propensity to cause cancer, and especially ADHD symptoms and hyperactivity in children. And now, Nestle's putting out neon nightmare-colored popsicles that look like they would probably have artificial colors, but they don't. So how about that?
Open it.
Not high fructose.
Came on stage. Now, in case you didn't know, the MK Ultra, a real mind control program from the U.S. government, has as one of its activation methods the Wizard of Oz, specifically the song "Somewhere Over the Rainbow."
Yeah,
and you can look this up, and you'll see it. It's the Monarch program specifically of MK Ultra. So also big Monarch butterflies are often used in association. Both of these, by the way, showed up with the Sandy Hook kids when they dropped by the ABC studios.
Singing the song makes me feel like she's with me, and she's beside me singing along with me. Over the rainbow.
I think that what we saw with people like Abby Martin and the Wall Chick, I think that might have been activation from the Rainbow song on the Oscars. Everyone went nutty.
I mean, I'm not going to go there because I think it's kind of crazy, but Abby Martin and Liz Wall quitting, within 24 hours or 48 hours of each other.
Well, she didn't
Abby never quit.
She didn't quit, no.
She just made a fuss, and she should be fired.
Putin! That's the one you wanted, right?
It's there.
I thought it was pretty good.
Putin!
I think it's perfect.
So Putin,
John Fletcher, thank you.
But the Liz Wall thing was like, okay, this is just plain weird. For one thing, the RT was not really doing much in the way of like covering the situation in the Ukraine. Or in Ukraine.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we step back? And not everybody who listens to the show has heard everything. Why don't we start briefly with Abby Martin and just play her little bit? Because I found this to be hilarious, by the way. This huff and rant that all of a sudden got all this attention.
So into it.
And by the way, this happens at the exact same moment President Obama presented his budget. Which I think is convenient or coincidental at best. Like, hey, yeah, here's my budget. Oh, look at Abby Martin!
That was Jeffrey Summers, Associate Professor of Political Economy at the University of Wisconsin. Before we wrap up the show, I wanted to say something from my heart about the ongoing political crisis.
I want to say from my heart. It's really from the prompter, but it's from my heart. She was reading it from the prompter.
I know she was.
No doubt about this. From my heart.
Crisis in Ukraine and Russia's military occupation of Crimea. Just because I work here for RT doesn't mean I don't have editorial independence. And I can't stress enough how strongly I am against any state intervention in a sovereign nation's affairs.
What does that even mean, how strongly I am? Does she mean to say how strongly against I am, or I am against? No, she messed it up. She misread.
Play it again. I want to hear it messed up.
She misread the prompter.
Before we wrap up the show, I wanted to say something from my heart about the ongoing political crisis in Ukraine and Russia's military occupation of Crimea. Just because I work here for RT doesn't mean I don't have editorial independence. And I can't stress enough how strongly I am against any state intervention in a sovereign nation's affairs.
How strongly I am against.
Yeah, how strongly I feel.
She's reading from the prompter. How strongly I am.
You're right. Yeah.
Against.
What Russia did is wrong. I admittedly don't know as much as I should about Ukraine's
history. What did they do?
I don't know.
What does she say? She doesn't know anything. Hey, Adam?
Yes?
What Russia did is wrong. I don't know anything about it.
Correct. You are awesome. Yeah, speaking truth to power, John.
About time I did that.
History of the cultural dynamic.
Truth to power. Douche.
Hey. Truth to power, people.
Of the region, but what I do know is that military intervention.
I don't know much about nothing, but what I do know
is never the answer. And I will not sit here and apologize or defend military aggression. Furthermore, the coverage I've seen of Ukraine has been truly disappointing from all sides of the media spectrum and rife with disinformation. Above all, my
rife with disinformation. It's rife. Who talks like that from the heart? I don't talk like that from the heart. It's rife.
What disinformation are we talking about?
It's all disinformation. Well, that is true.
Out to the Ukrainian people who are now wedged as
the Ukrainian
pawns in the middle of a global power chess game. They're the real losers here. All we can do now is hope for a peaceful outcome for a terrible situation and prevent another full-blown Cold War between multiple superpowers.
So when this happens like this, now I've thought quite a bit, and I have a bigger problem with Miss Liz Wall, who apparently her only other gig was at CNN, and I guess she was a producer. It's not like she's
a kid. She just graduated from college.
Yeah, in Virginia, I might add. I said, she went to Virginia, some Virginia school. Okay. That's why I said MK Ultra. Why else are these chicks doing this? Like, something. I have to talk from the heart. It's I'm speaking truth to power.
Who do they think they are? They're talking heads on a small, very kind of a minimal operation.
They are the disinformation. That's what's obvious.
Yeah.
Because who gives a crap?
I was not impressed.
Well, I was very impressed.
The Twitters went crazy. Yeah, good for you, Abby.
Yeah, speaking truth to power. Now, here, let's do the Liz Wall thing. I thought that was much more interesting, mainly because of what happened after her little spiel.
Last night, RT made international headlines, and one of our anchors went on the record and said Russian intervention in Crimea is wrong.
She didn't actually say that, but listen to this girl's...
she didn't say that
she didn't say that, but listen to this girl's speech patterns. It's very interesting, and she's listed as a producer. Have you ever seen her on air, ever?
Yeah, no, I see her all the time.
Oh, okay. I've
She's
never
the
seen
main anchor.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and she, by the way, the new one that took over,
isn't it the kettle calling the kettle black, or however that fucking saying goes?
Oh, great.
And indeed, as a reporter on this network, I face many ethical and moral challenges, especially me personally, coming from a family.
Listen, if you're working at this outfit, of this RT outfit, which has a studio in D.C., they might have a Skype booth in New York, and a lot of producers in Moscow. And someone comes along and says, hey, what are you making at that outfit? And believe me, if these girls are making more than $100,000 a year for doing this...
Are you nuts?
Yeah,
You're not even getting close to that.
I think they're making 100.
No.
You think they're making less than 100?
Yeah.
All right, so all you have to do is come along and say, listen, I got
you. Girl.
MSNBC, or this is going to be something good. Maybe this girl can go back to CNN where she came from. That's not hard to get, first of all, it's true, obviously. We know RT is a propaganda. But for this all of a sudden to happen,
how would you go to RT in the first place if you didn't know you were taking part in a propagandistic operation?
Yeah, and I think Abby should resign. She didn't get the right deal, you see. She didn't get a deal.
Oh, Abby, I'm sure she's getting nothing.
She got no deal. She didn't. She did it all wrong. This girl did it right.
My grandparents came here as refugees during the Hungarian Revolution, ironically to escape the Soviet forces. I have family on the opposite side, on my mother's side, that sees the daily grind of poverty. And I'm very lucky to have grown up here in the United States. I'm the daughter of a veteran. My partner is a physician.
At this point, I'm like, oh, at least she's a lesbian. That's kind of hot. But no.
At a military base where he sees every day the first-hand accounts of the ultimate prices that people pay.
What does this have to do with anything? I really didn't understand this part about my partner is the doctor and sees the ultimate price. So you see dead people? Is that the ultimate price?
I was kind of befuddled by this myself. I think she was trying to, and I hate to use this term in this manner with her, trying to paint a picture that she lives, that there's a life that, she's part of a bigger thing, and these things go on. And she's trying to, give you the sense that there's a rationale for what she's about to do.
For this country. And that is why, personally, I cannot be part of a network funded by the Russian government that whitewashes the actions of Putin.
Putin. I love that. That's so sexy.
Putin.
She says Putin. Putin.
I can't even say the way she does.
Whitewashes the actions of Putin.
Putin. He's Putin.
Putin.
No, she says Putin. He's
no,
Putin.
She says Putin like kitten.
No, she does not pronounce the T. She says Putin like pooping.
No, just play it again and listen for
Putin.
the T.
Putin.
That whitewashes the actions of Putin.
Putin.
Yeah, it's Putin.
Putin. He's Putin. Putin.
Putin.
Putin.
I'm proud to be an American and believe in disseminating the truth, and that is why, after this newscast, I'm resigning.
Speaking truth to power. Outstanding. Okay, so here's where it all fell apart for me. So I'm this part of my okay, I get it. But then the first interview she does is with Anderson Pooper. Now Pooper is in Crimea. Now you know that when something's set up, Pooper is on the scene. We got boots on the Pooper on the ground. Do you remember it was Tahrir Square the first time around? No, he's always there when it's an operation.
Storm.
When it's an operation,
a fan on him. He's in Haiti.
Yeah, but only when it's an op. He didn't go to Tahrir Square the second or the third time. He wasn't on the Euromaidan. But there's nowhere to be found. He's not in the protests in France, in
hundreds of thousands of dollars in assets for CNN.
Well, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars. So nice. So then he gets Liz Wall on. Now here's the thing that bothered me. It's a split screen, and she's wearing the same outfit that she quit in. And the background, the green screen, it's the same shot. It has the RT background still rotating. This confused me very much. I'm still not sure.
That's interesting.
I'm still not sure why. So you telling me she quits on the air and RT says, yeah, you can use our studio to do an interview with Pooper, no problem. Just keep those clothes on, don't move. The lighting's perfect. So that is like, what? How can that makes no sense.
She either had to do it before she quit.
Yeah, but it was it was on the RT set, so they would have known. There's no way. This was not a Skype interview. She was in the studio with the RT
whole
background.
A fake.
Yes, of course it's a fake. So here's parts of this interview. Here she is with Pooper talking about the Putin perspective.
And what's clear is what's happening right now amid this crisis is that RT is not about the truth. It's about promoting a Putinist agenda, and a Putinist,
a Puinistic agenda. This girl is, I think she's a presidential model in the MK Ultra program because she has a little speech thingy going on. Putinist agenda.
RT is not about the truth. It's about promoting a Putinist agenda, and I can tell you firsthand, it's also about bashing America. And I kind of cited some of my background, where I came from, and why I am proud to be an American.
She's a Filipino. It's like a whole mix of stuff. She looks more Filipino.
She's the
than anything.
multiculti girl of the future.
Yes, she is.
In recent days, I've been suffering from a lot of cognitive dissonance.
Suffering from cognitive dissonance. I find it interesting.
And felt that I could no longer work here and go on television and tell the American people that this is what's happening, and have it pose as news. It's just something I don't know.
This is Wag the Dog, John. I think this is so much bigger than we realize. And
one of my favorite moments was you sitting on the edge of the bed, talking to him, and you asked him whether or not, you said, try not to take this the wrong way, but did you have sadness in your life before you met this guy?
And he got
angry at you.
He took it amiss.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't like that question. And he said something like, what are you asking me? Am I a burnout? Am I a burnout?
Well, his quote was fascinating because it was about fundamentalism.
Yeah, he says, I always say that having a breakdown is like the precursor to fundamentalism.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was going to say that he had a breakdown.
Yeah, so I sort of went with the question, like what he said. I felt like he was setting me up for that, but he didn't see himself as a fundamentalist, and it was a misunderstanding. I normally try and get into the difficult questions a little more gracefully, and because I'd misunderstood what he was saying,
I don't think you did.
I slid into it a bit.
I really don't think you did. I think he changed gears.
You think?
Yeah, I think he was sort of admitting...
You know what happened? Like, the deep story there is that I'd spent... That was in Weird Weekends days, which was about 10 years ago, and I used to try and spend... It was like a little rule of thumb. I'd find a contributor who I could relate to the most. Like, you take something that seemed really out of whack, like something that, on the face of it, you think, like, how could people really think it's cool to move to Idaho and not pay taxes and think the UN is going to invade? How could people really think that an Indian guru is going to manifest Rolex watches, they call them siddhis, by meditating, and cure cancer by jamming on a keyboard, right? An old Bontempi keyboard.
Yeah.
And so, but the technique we used was to try and find the most likable, reasonable-seeming person who exemplified that belief system. So it was like you take a weird subject but cast it normal, like cast it a person who's likable and relatable. And Mike was the guy we thought. And when you found that guy, I'd say, and I'll spend a night with them. It was like supposed to signal my commitment to the story as well. So in that story, I spent the night at Mike's ashram, and but they had very thin mattresses. Although I later found out there were different thicknesses depending on how committed you were. You would choose a thinner mattress, so you can choose a thick one. But I didn't realize. I just found a thin one, so I put it on. I thought, and I had one of the worst nights of sleep in my life. And I woke up the next morning kind of groggy, and as you are after a night's sleep, not just like kind of bad-tempered, but also just my chi wasn't flowing right, and I wasn't in tune with what was going on around me. And so when he said something about if you're fundamentalist because you've had a breakdown, and I think, he's saying he had a breakdown, I think. So did you have some sadness in your life? And then he kind of flipped
Let's
out.
play that. You can find that, Jamie. It's that video that you just showed. If you back up about 3 or 4 minutes before that, find it is you'll see Louis getting out of bed, and he looks very groggy, and then he communicates with this guy, and they have this sort of a weird breakdown.
That's also the one where I try and call, because then the guru says he's a big fan of Siegfried and Roy, or David Copperfield.
David Copperfield, yeah.
He says he went to Vegas, and I took that as a kind of slightly... very subtle, coded, possible admission that he takes an interest in magic, and therefore what he does is a kind of conjuring. So I was trying to edge towards getting him to admit that, we know that you can't make a Rolex watch appear out of thin air, right? And so why not let's just get that out there and admit that, that's what you do. But he's a guru, so he couldn't really admit it.
Yeah, this is...
Swamiji goes like this, and a 50-pound note just jumped out of his foot. He goes here. He doesn't. He's working, on a cosmic level. Don't take this the wrong way, Mike. But was there any sadness in your life before you came to see this Swami and committed to him? I have a little saying. Fundamentalism is the aftermath of a nervous breakdown. You know, when it's a little bit coarse, but no. Did you have a nervous breakdown? No, sometimes I'm sick. Yeah. Would I come up with that? Yeah. Please. Yeah. No, I don't. No, No, I mean, meaning like,
See, pause this. All this, These are all tells.
Am I a burnout? And then he goes, am I a burnout?
Yeah.
But it's like when
but I think these are all tells.
Yeah.
I think he changed gears on you. I really think his initial statement, fundamentalism, and about nervous breakdowns. I think that's what he's really saying.
Yeah.
I really do. And then when you confront him on it, he realizes he's on camera. That's why he's thinking too much. He's trying to come up with a way to spin that story in a better light. He's not just free-flowing what's going on in his mind. He's dancing around the subject, trying to wrestle it into a more acceptable, palatable form.
I think I agree, but I think my take on it is he's emotionally, close to the surface and probably has been through a lot of difficult things. I'm getting dangerously close to kind of diagnosing him in absentia, but I also think he's trying to step outside it. He's trying to say, like, I agree with you, like, but I'm not one of them. Like, I don't think he thinks that he did have a breakdown.
Well, it could be both.
He's trying to play it off.
Yeah.
I think
maybe
he was a lovely guy, though. He was from the Bay Area. I hope he's doing okay.
He seemed like a very nice guy, which is one of the interesting aspects of it. He also seemed fairly intelligent, but he also claimed to be a total, complete skeptic.
But look, Isaac, I don't want to go on a little lecture, but Isaac Newton believed in alchemy, right?
Did he?
Yeah. And spent like the last 20 years of his life having made probably the most important scientific breakthroughs, of all time. The last 20 years of his life kind of calculating the dimensions of Noah's Ark based on biblical information. Just wacko stuff, and believed in the Philosopher's Stone and the idea of... I'm constantly surprised in the ways in which irrationality, or what we could choose to think of as rationality, can coexist with rationality. But I'm curious about the fact that you enjoyed the guru story. Because I look back at that, and it's not one that I feel is kind of one of my, finest moments.
I love
Steve Miller Band, fly like an eagle. We almost stopped by here. Golden Debate Show, GoldenShow, Support everything that we do, please. Yep. We in tune with Golden.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. Baby, baby, we don't have enough to eat. Shoot the children.
Othershows, Golden Debate Show. Let's see what we got here on the No Agenda News Network. Bitcoin might bite the dust, but the notion of digital currency will endure, of course, because the vamps want to be able to control that shit, because digital currency is way easier to control. Judge Napolitano to appear on The Daily Show Tuesday. That vampire. Pentagon warns increasing in terrorism due to
the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come. So let's get these hits up. Like, comment, share, and download. Roll them out that cam. It looks like up there. Like, comment, share, download. And stay golden. Open minds, not empty ones. Let's do it. Aloha, River Dirty. Hasta luego. Flippity flip. See you on the other side.
Talking about. Yeah.
you talking about? All that talking like this, like that. All that in your hood. Golden shows, golden roads, strobe lights, laser lights. Look at my gold. Should've been tonight. Happen shit. Early morning. Hold it up. No, he said. We're talking like this. Talking like that. We're talking. Golden Debate Show. Golden Debate Show. Golden Debate Show. We like this. We're talking hood. Draw the line. And you better talk with bitch ass. You know we're coming out the best. Golden Show. Golden robes. Golden boss. Golden scroll.